Temperature conversions are very important for when we're working with our data in the scientific lab. One of the reasons for that is because the thermometers that we have in the lab are Celsius based. However, we do not actually think in Celsius. Typical American thinks in the Fahrenheit scale. So if I told you it's something that's 25 degrees, you tend to think about it as being something that's quite cold. On the contrary, though, 25 degrees Celsius is something much warmer than that. And so learning how to convert from one temperature scale to another is an important thing to be able to do. There is a third chemistry scale that we are going to talk about, and that's called the Kelvin scale. And the Kelvin scale is what we call an absolute scale. And anything that's absolute is always going to be a positive number. So Kelvin is always a positive number. Now it's important to also note that each step of the Kelvin scale, I don't say degree, but for all intents and purposes the degree, is the same size as Celsius, not Fahrenheit, however. So because of that, to convert from the Celsius to the Kelvin scale is very, very simple. Simply add 273.15. And then go back from Kelvin to Celsius, you subtract 273.15. Very simple process. Always keep in mind and keep in your back of your head somewhere that a negative Kelvin is impossible. Negative Kelvin does not exist. 0 Kelvin is the coldest you could possibly get. That's what we call absolute zero. And at that temperature, all molecular motion ceases. Now, the more complicated equations that we're going to have to learn to work with are to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. Both of these require that you follow your order of operations. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication. My dear Aunt Sally. Addition and subtraction. The next page will have a couple examples of how to do these. Okay, so Celsius to Kelvin again is a simple matter of adding 273.15. So if I take 50 degrees and I add 273.15, I come up with a value of 323.15 Kelvin. The reverse is also true. I can take 200 Kelvin and subtract 273.15 and come up with a negative value for Celsius of 73.15. A negative Celsius is okay. A negative Kelvin, however, is not. These processes are very simple. The opposite is true when we're talking about Fahrenheit to Celsius. If we're going to go Fahrenheit to Celsius, we're going to use this bottom equation over here. We're going to take the Fahrenheit temperature, 80 degrees, and we're going to subtract 32 from it immediately. 80 minus 32 gives us a value of 48. We're then going to take 48 and divide it by 1.8 and get our answer of 26.67 degrees Celsius. 80 degrees Fahrenheit is 26.67. That's all we have for temperature conversions. We'll be working with these for the test, for the web assignment throughout this unit.